So this is my 100th video. Does that mean anything? I don't know, probably not. Can you see me? Yeah, you must be able to. I guess really all that means that I've 100 times now I've sat on the couch in the house in the evenings after I've been out here working all day with my phone in my hand and tried to download a bunch of jibber jabber up to YouTube. So I thought I'd tell a brief bit of the story about how I came to build my empire. My empire being a shop about as big as 3 outhouses screwed together, where I come out every day and turn people's rusty shit into a reasonable sized investment that they're never going to get their money back on. So that's how that goes. So I was about, I guess I was probably 37 or 38. And I was working in a body shop in Red Deer. I'm in Red Deer, Alberta. That's where I'm at. And the shop I was in, I was doing heavy truck collision. Like your Kenworths, your Peterbilts, Freightliners, stuff like that. Flop them over into a ditch, you know, whatever. I was fixing that kind of stuff. I think actually the coolest thing I did there was, I remember I stick built, that's what they called it, I think it was a Freightliner that somebody flopped into the ditch hard enough that it needed a new cab. Couldn't get one, et cetera, so I stripped her down to the floor. And then what they mean by stick building is you get a box of aluminum bracework that's all cut to sizes and shapes and bends, and then you get a pallet of aluminum sheets that are all cut to sizes and shapes, and you start welding the aluminum sticks together, and then you sheet the outside of it with the aluminum sheeting, rivet it all together, and you build the cab from scratch. I stripped the thing down to the floor, so it was the dash, the firewall, the floor, seats were still in it, and started from the floor and built my way up until it was a blue and white Freightliner that went back out the door and somebody put back to work again. So that was actually kind of cool. But anyways, that don't matter. That don't mean shit to what we're talking about now, does it? Shut up and get back to the point. Okay. So anyways, that's where I was working. And I've been in the trade forever. And always, you get people saying to you, you ever do any work on the weekends? You know, you ever do any side work? Because I got an old hunk of shit that needs to be rusted up. You ever want to do that kind of stuff? And I always told people, no, I don't. Because I do it all day long. And if I worked at Tim Hortons, that's a donut joint. If I worked at Tim Hortons here, I wouldn't go at home at night and make you donuts. Now, would I? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't, you know. I wouldn't. So anyways, tired of doing all that same shit. So then I got to thinking, I moved out here to this acreage, and this building was here. I needed to be finished, and I thought, maybe in my future, because I'm like 37 years old, I'm thinking, you know, another 10 years down the road kind of thing, maybe. Maybe I could start piecing enough stuff together in my shop that I could quit my job and build hot rods and stuff and be a big stinking hero to everybody. So I started doing that, and somebody that I worked with had a paint booth, that one. It was all in pieces, sitting out in a farm. So I bought the paint booth from him and brought it out here. And so just out of curiosity, because I wanted to do everything legally, to see if I could be a business out here, I went to the county office, and said, I want to do a home-based business. What do I got to do? They said, well, you have to apply for it. That's the only way to find out if you can do it. You apply for it and it's voted. All right. So I applied for it. Still didn't plan on doing it anytime soon. Just wanted to know if I could. Went through the whole process. Well, it turns out that the manager in the shop that I worked at, he lives in the county as well, miles over that away. So part of the process is they publish it in the county paper. So they published it, and he read the county paper, and he read the application that I put in there was voted as plausible for a home business. So he talked to the guy that owned the joint, and the guy that owned the joint said, well, that's a conflict of interest. So they took me in and told me, you can either quit or we'll fire you. And I said, I've never been fired, so I guess I'll quit. I should let them fire me, because I would have got severance, but I didn't do that. So anyways, now I didn't have a job, And so one of the things that I guess I'll step back a couple of frames. One of the things is, so the manager that lives a few miles from here, one day while I was working in his shop, now this is in between, so I think the county paper came out Wednesday or Thursday, so he had read it, so this is either the Thursday or the Friday, it was immediately. And I was in there working in his shop, and he took time out of his day, and he knew where I lived, so he drove out here. I don't know what he thought he was going to see, but he did see something, because to make sure that all the pieces were there for my paint booth, I got enough room outside in the field that I hauled all the pieces out and I laid it all out like if you opened up a cardboard box. I laid the roof panels out, then the wall panels, then the doors and this and that to make sure that everybody was home, all the bracework and everything. So I had the paint booth laid out in the yard, taking up all kinds of space, but if you looked at it oversight, it would have looked like a box unfolded. So he comes up my driveway and he sees it and he recognizes that that's a paint booth that I've got spread out in my yard. So I guess that led to, I mean, what the hell is he doing here anyways? I got a gate now, so he wouldn't be able to do that now, but the guy was kind of a dickhead, really. I'm sure he still is. Actually, he's probably even more of a dickhead now. So there. So, but anyways, that's how that went. So they hauled me into the office, and I said, I ain't never been fired before, so I quit. So I quit. So then I came home, and I think my walls were insulated, but I didn't even have plastic up yet. Yeah, because I mean, this wasn't, there was power run in, but that was it. There wasn't a light in here, not a plug-in, not a nothing, and I didn't have a job. So I thought, well, what do? Do I go get a job? Which, I mean, the auto body trade in Canada here, anyways, in Alberta especially, if you don't work in a different shop every 3 months, then you go to apply for a job when they think, ooh, you can do stuff, and you don't have any problem getting a job. And most of the shops around here, I've been around here long enough in Red Deer there at that time that I could have walked into pretty much any shop. And as long as they had work to do, I probably could have got a job. So I wasn't concerned with that. So I thought, well, I guess I'll just jump on it and try to see what I can do here. So I took my last paycheck and I went and I bought a bunch of insulation and plastic, and I went to a place where they sell donated home renovation materials and stuff. It's called Habitat for Humanity, and I think for $10 a pop I bought light fixtures and stuff and a spool of wire, and I came home and I started finishing off insulating the walls and whatnot. And what did I get first? Oh, a friend of mine that was driving a tow truck, he knew of somebody who had a 69 Firebird that was sitting in a shop in Red Deer that they hadn't done nothing with, had been there forever, and he wasn't happy about it. And I mean, they do collision work. They don't do old shit. So I went and had a look at the car and said, yeah, I could do that. So he towed the car out here. I think within a couple of days, I had a car sitting on the floor. I didn't have no lights. I didn't have no walls, but I had a job sitting here to start working on. So I had, one of them lights on a stick that I had out here, and I don't think, what did I use for air? I think I did have like a shitty little Home Depot compressor that wouldn't even keep up to a fart. And that's what I was trying to use to get started. So yeah, by the time I had the Firebird almost ready to go, I had the paint booth set up, and I can't remember what I had in it for a fan because I didn't have enough power to run paint booth stuff. But, I kind of made it work, and I kind of stuck everything together. I think I probably went for, I'll bet you I went for 2 years before I ever put a piece of drywall up. Like, my walls were shiny pink insulation and plastic, and lights screwed to the studs on the walls. And I mean, you do what you got to do, right? And it was kind of working. I was keeping the mortgage paid, and I was, getting stuff, and I was managing to get one job after another. And then it didn't take very long. I think I was probably at it out here for about a year, maybe, working. And I mean, at that point, all of a sudden, as I was writing down, like if somebody got a hold of me and said, hey, I did a V8 Vega station wagon for a guy back then. I did all kinds of stuff. Dodge Darts, old trucks. So anyways, as you're doing it, somebody'd come up and say, hey, I want you to work on my car. So then I'd write them down and say, all right, well, I'm going to be probably a couple of months. No sweat. I'm going to be this. I'm going to be this long, that long. And at one point, I think when I wrote it down on paper, I probably had 2 years worth of work ahead of me. And a lot of it worked out well, that it was people that they weren't ready to get it done, but they're thinking in about a year's time, I'm going to be ready to get my car painted. So get on the list. And actually it worked out pretty good. And I mean, even as it sits now, so that was 2005. And as it sits now, I mean, I got a year's worth of work ahead of me, and I got too goddamn much work in here now. I mean, this is a really big job. I'm staring at a Firebird that's a really big job, and sitting in my paint booth is a cab for 71 C10 truck that's a really big job. And on my board over there, there's a 71 Chevelle waiting to come in here. There's a 68 Camaro that a guy wants done in here. There's a 68 Pontiac Beaumont that a guy wants me to do. Plus, I already know that the Dodge guy that I do a lot of work for, he has 4 that he wants me to do. 2 Barracudas and 2 Darts. So that's too much. That's way too much. I don't like that. I mean, that's being too busy is more stressful than not having any work at all. Because as soon as you get a job, your worries are over. But, I mean, when you got too much work lined up in front of you, well, I mean, that's every day you wake up and you think, holy shit, how am I going to get all this done? But anyways, I thought, being my 100th video, fireworks and lightning and shit, that I'd just give a little spiel on how I come to doing what I'm doing. In the past, I had employees here. I had 2 guys working for me for a while. Just didn't work out. I'm not set up for it. I don't have a bathroom out here. I don't have plumbing, and I don't want people going into my house and breaking my toilet at 9:30 in the morning. That's happened, and I didn't like it. Well, they didn't break it, but it wasn't usable. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, anyways, I am, like I said, I was 37 years old, however old I was in 2005, and I'm 56 years old now, and I'm still doing it, still sitting here. Actually, I probably had this chair the whole damn time, too. So yeah, I just thought for the 126 people that watch these, I just thought maybe I'd spill it out as to how I got here. So there we go. If you're still watching, thanks for watching. And if you watch my stuff and you think it's worth watching, well, tell everybody you know, would you? Because I like to see the subscriber count grow, because then it tells me that people are watching what I'm doing and they don't mind watching me. Then it kind of makes it worth doing this stuff, you know? Or do you? I don't know. I don't even really know. So anyways, thanks for watching.